Hello, welcome back
to the Mom's View.
We're here again, and we will be every week.
Well, believe it or not, we do read, well, we try and read all of your comments.
Yes.
And they're very appreciated, and we thought today we could actually answer some of your questions.
Fun. Let's do it.
Nervous.
So I have it here. Okay, I'm going to read this verbatim. I have an idea for you wonderful ladies for a future episode. Maybe you could talk about your childhood dreams as little girls. What I mean by that is like, did any of you dream of your wedding or how many kids you wanted or your Prince Charming? Thumbs up if you like my idea suggestion. So, childhood dreams.
Childhood dreams. I think, yeah, like all my childhood dreams were like, yes, I'm marrying Prince Charming, and he was exactly the way he was in all the Disney movies, and that's who I was going to marry. I mean...
Really?
Didn't we all?
Yeah.
I know you have a prince that sings
I
and,
know.
and carries you. And
Throws my kids around. Yeah.
he's like the one prince with long hair, Fabio.
Oh,
Is that a prince? No, is that the butter guy?
Yeah, butter guy.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, Fabio. Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
Shay.
that's hilarious. Shay, you look like Fabio.
Or Jesus, I can't decide. With the beard and the long hair. I'm like,
Oh, that is funny. Yeah, childhood dreams are like, I feel like I always had all of those, you know.
Yeah.
I think, I can't talk now, I'm stuttering. But it was just like the movies, like that's what I saw myself.
Yeah, and finding
Yeah.
Prince Charming and having a family, and that was the dream. And then you got it. You got it.
Well,
go girl.
Yeah. How about you?
I feel like my Prince Charming was my dad.
Mm.
As a little girl, I was in love with my dad. I loved him so much, and I told Casey that once, and he was like, "That's really weird." Like, not like that. Like, I just loved everything my dad did. He was so sweet to us. I have two sisters, so we had 3 girls, and he was just the sweetest. And Casey actually is so much like my dad.
Well, they say that, you know, that's your model, so you tend to you know,
That's
be
where I
attracted
went
to people that are like that.
To marry somebody like my dad.
Right? That's true. Yeah, and my dad and my mom, they joke all the time about how much they're alike. So.
And so was that as a child, was that your dream to grow up and have a family? Did you have other dreams? Was it like...
Well, a big dream of mine was to do hair. I remember at such a young age, and that's kind of totally off the subject of this, but at such a young age, filling out papers, what do you want to do when you grow up? I want to do hair when I grow up. I want to do nails when I grow up. Because my mom did. So anyways, thank you.
awesome.
I feel like that was a big childhood dream of mine.
That's so interesting that you guys, your exact childhood dreams you have. I mean, you have the career you wanted. You married a Prince Charming.
I think that's interesting
amazing.
to hear her say that
Yeah.
because I feel like whenever I was asked that, like, what do you want to be? I'm like, I just want to be a mom. Like, what else would I be? You know? So
you didn't have something, you weren't like, I want to be an astronaut or like, so, you know,
I wanted to be a dancer, but I did, you know, dance in high school and in college a little bit, so I did a little bit of my dream there.
That type of dancing was inappropriate.
You should start dancing on your channel.
Okay, I'll try.
Sorry, just kidding.
How about you, Mia? What was your childhood dream?
Well, of course, I wanted a Prince Charming too. I think we all, as women, want to someday have a husband, a house, and I wanted to have 4 kids. So here I am without a Prince Charming anymore. I know. I think we'll both find a Prince Charming again. But I mean, obviously, just the obvious and lots of kids and a husband. And I really wanted to inspire people at a young age. I wanted to have these good thoughts and just have people listen somehow. I don't know. And I always thought myself as a public speaker, but I was so shy when I was younger that it was almost like something I would never be able to do. And I remember at one point I wanted to be in a circus. And I look at it today, I'm like, that would never happen. Like, I have no skills.
I can see being the girl on the horse twirling the thing. Like,
no, but I wanted to be the one. I don't know how to say it in English because in French, the one you
tightrope.
Do you walk on the rope?
The tightrope. Yeah, the tightrope walk.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd thing.
That's awesome. That's the childhood dreams. That's what they are. You dream really big when you're a child. Anything's possible.
I think I should just do it. You know how you could pay to just do that and you fall in the net? I think I should just do it just for fun.
And then you don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember having specific dreams about boys. I remember like I was very boy crazy, but I do remember telling my dad, I was like, I'm gonna live at the house for the rest of my life with you guys. My dad was like, at the time I'm sure he thought it was sweet, but then I was like, I was like, get out the door. But I don't really remember having like a specific. I remember I loved teaching. Like I used to have this thing in our neighborhood called Kids Club. I invite like the neighborhood kids to come over, and I remember I loved teaching them like. Whether it was a sport or a game or something, I loved being, I think maybe it's just I was power hungry. Like, I've always been power hungry. I like being in charge and, like, I don't know, so I liked teaching, but I never wanted to be, like, a teacher, and I liked dancing, so I don't know.
So when kids your own age, you would bring them over and be like, I'm going to teach you.
Yeah,
something.
and
That's
like,
amazing.
And then if they, like, got in trouble, I'm like, you're kicked out of Kids Club. You can't come back next week, and you don't get your treat today, so.
So you really like the leader at a young age.
Yeah, I was like the gang, the neighborhood gang. I don't know, it's so funny.
So you're meant to be a leader, maybe.
I don't know about that. We'll see. But I just remember love teaching. And then guys, I assumed, I don't think I had dreams, but I assumed I would get married and have a family and kids, but I never like dreamt of that day. So
Did you guys have a dream of what your wedding would be like?
I didn't actually. No, I thought it was more important to like focus on who I was gonna marry rather than like my dress and.
He always makes
good.
good choices. I was
that's
just
a good
worried
choice.
about my dress. That makes you want wedding cake.
I'm really bad at making decisions too, so I couldn't decide. I would look at all these dresses and be like, I'll decide when that comes. I'll think about that when that comes.
How about you guys? Did you dream of a big wedding?
Beautiful, sparkly, and huge. I don't know.
Diamonds.
You did?
Yeah, just like, like Cinderella-ish. But I don't know. Now I'm like, that made me look fat. I don't want a big dress. I don't know.
it's just many of the styles change.
Yeah.
I wanted a big wedding, but I had 12 people at my wedding. Just
Really?
yeah, his family, close family, my close family. I think my next one will be bigger.
So you had a dream of a big wedding.
Yeah, I
What
always
made you choose to
pictured.
do it smaller?
I don't know. I know a few of my really good friends. One just had a baby. One was out of town, and I was like, why don't we just keep it like? And I wanted both families to get to know each other too. So I thought it'd be a good time to get everyone to know
Sometimes
each other.
that's nice because it's like more in the focus of the purpose of the wedding and not the cake and
There's
the
not as
groom's
much
cake.
stress.
And because I've been to some
Yeah.
weddings and I'm just like, this is so much effort that it's like you almost forget. It's more about the display of the wedding instead of the idea of like why they're there in the first place.
It takes
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad actually, his job when we were growing up is that he was a wedding photographer, and my brother and I used to be his assistants. So
That's the coolest
yeah.
thing.
It was. I mean, it was cool. It was back when there was film, so it was a little more intense because you had to get the shot. You know, it wasn't,
Right.
it wasn't
Yeah.
digital. You
Yeah.
know, so but we wound up going to like 1,000 weddings. You know, growing up, so I saw a very different perspective, the other side of it, and it was all the the brides being really upset about
Bridezillas.
things. Oh yeah,
That's
it's not
right.
perfect, and my dad was always pointing out how much things cost and the superficiality of it, kind of. So I think I always had this perspective of that's not what's important, you know, and that it is about the connection. Because I'd sit there and be like, do they even like each other? Sometimes, you know, you're really tuned into that, especially when you're young. You think it's really cool, but then you're like, do they even? Is that what this is about, or is it about this big day?
Makes me think of the Kardashian wedding. Sorry to bring that up, but you know what I'm saying? Like there was so much effort put on, like the tents and the placemats and like the groom's cake. I didn't even know that they did those
They
things.
have a groom's cake.
Yeah, they have a cake and then a groom's cake. It's like just eat the freaking cake.
I
Just
know.
get one cake. You don't need
Nobody
70
really eats the
cakes.
cake anyways.
Yeah.
The cake like went to waste.
I do.
Well,
Yeah.
You have a piece and then it's like
We didn't. We had one piece and that's it.
I know. I don't even know what happened to the rest.
What were
My
your
cake
weddings
was
like?
Fake.
My cake was actually a castle.
it was so
Because
Cinderella.
I was very like, all I wanted to do really was be a princess. So I had a castle cake, and it was so funny because the lady that made the cake, it was like 2 layers, and it like, it was like the main layer, and then whoever set it up did it wrong, but they set it up like, way up high, so it was like this cake layer here, and then this like floating castle. And at first I looked at it, I was like, okay, whatever. I wasn't very picky about it. It kind of looked weird to me, but I was like, oh, that's fine. I like it. And then later when the decorator looked at the pictures, because she couldn't be there, when she looked at the pictures, she was mortified that they had set it up wrong. And I was just like, it wasn't a big
It
deal.
was a cool cake. I remember that.
What was your wedding
It
like?
was cool. It was like, it was a whirlwind. I remember just that morning, Carly actually did my hair.
Yeah.
Woke up really early, and she did my hair all curled and pretty, and then I had a veil. And I was actually married I'm Mormon, so I was married in the Mormon temple, and that was really small and intimate. Like, our parents could be there, and then like some aunts and uncles, and they were there, and then the big party was afterwards, like at our church. And I remember we didn't spend any money, hardly at all. We had my aunt put together a backdrop, and like the ladies from the church helped us like serve refreshments, which was like these Golden Graham s'mores.
I remember that.
Shay loves them. Yeah. He loves Golden Graham s'mores. So that was our refreshment at our wedding. So it was pretty like low cost, low budget, but it was fun.
It's more like weddings now just seem more like a business. It's a way to make some money. Like this is an expensive cake, or this, and that's what it's about, is the love, and you guys had that.
Yeah, I mean, and we still had a great party.
Yeah.
So it was fun.
It was a good wedding.
It was fun.
How about you? What was your wedding like?
I, for some reason, wanted to get married in my grandma's yard.
Which is
I
beautiful.
don't know why.
Yeah.
So she didn't really have a backyard. We got married on her side yard, and there was a freeway in front of it. Now thinking back, I'm like, why didn't I want to do that so bad? But I did, and it turned out
It was
good.
pretty though, because the Utah mountains were in the background, and it's like
it's
farm,
so
so it's very
pretty.
green.
It's
and
where I
it was
grew up,
beautiful.
and they have a farm in the back, and there's a big barn, and I just loved that. It felt like home to me, so I really wanted that, and it turned out good. I feel like my wedding was really cute, cutesy. I was really young. I wanted bright pink and bright yellow, and I wanted Gerber daisies, so it was pretty. It was cutesy, but it was fun. I had my friends there, and Carly was my bridesmaid and my little sister.
That was fun. I felt special. I was like, I'm in a wedding night.
In a bright pink dress.
I wore that dress later to a dance, a high school dance. So
It was fun.
I like that dress.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun wedding.
Yeah, it was so beautiful too. I remember.
So, as mothers of daughters, do you feel like that you're gonna spend time sort of encouraging them to think about a career and what their career might be?
I'm really gonna push her to go to college and get an education. And I always thought, you know, there's stay-at-home moms, which I think is amazing. I was a stay-at-home mom for a year, but I don't want my daughter to depend on somebody for income, because what if it's a situation like me where it's a sudden split and then you're stuck without a career?
Yeah.
So I really want to make sure that she has an education, and I'm going to really make sure I'm going to enforce it. It's important to me.
Yeah, because I like quit school to help support him while, you know, and then we were gonna have a baby, and so it was like after that, and we got divorced. I'm like, well, now what? I have this baby, and he's gone like he was away. I had Cooper full time. Like, how do I go back to school and work? And I mean, I know there's amazing people out there who do it, and I'm sure I could have done it. I just think that no matter what with your kids, you should let them feel like they need to express all options. Like, my mom and dad were always really good about supporting me, but I wish that I would have pushed myself or known that push yourself to do whatever you want, even if you try and fail. I don't know if I was afraid of failing, but I always thought I'd go on to be an NFL cheerleader, and I wish I would have pushed myself to, like, have done that, even if I, just so I could have said, well, at least I tried, you know. And I just, with Cooper, I just want him, anything you want to do, you can do it. Just try, go for it, and then that way in the back of your head, you'll never have a regret, and never be like, I wish I would have tried to be that firefighter, you know. Even if you fail or you do it for a year and you hate it, like, that's what this life is about, is finding what you love, even if it's a year that didn't really go for anything. I just wish I would have expressed more things that I wanted to do.
That's, yeah, my dad was very much like that. He waited till later in life, till he was 29. He wanted to be an actor, and he tried to be an actor for a year, but he was 29, and it was later, and, you know, he met my mom and had a family, and so he always was encouraging us. He's like, try everything. This is your one life, you know, go live it and try everything. And I think that's probably how I found myself out here wanting to be an actor, try doing these things, because it was having that option and being like, just go do it, you know, because then you won't have these regrets.
Yeah,
that's so true.
Being a working mom, I know my mom worked out of our home doing nails, and I feel like that's why I did as a child have dreams of working and doing things. And Braylee, it's funny because when I was doing hair all the time and she would come to the salon with me, she wanted to do hair.
Yeah.
Now that we're doing YouTube, she's like, I think I want to do YouTube.
Or
she'll see singers and stuff, and I think I'm going to be a singer. Like, yeah, whatever you want to do, just try it. Like you were saying, I want her to try everything, and I never want to say, oh, I don't think you should try that. I want to be like, if you want to do that, you try it.
Right.
Exactly. I think education is so important. Like for me, I remember growing up thinking that I would just be a wife and a mom, but you can't always depend on that. You know, what if Shay were to die tomorrow? And like, what would I do? Like, I need to have a goal in place. I need to have some, knock on wood. You know? I need to know that I'm going to be able to support my kids and my family. So I think education is key. That's first, and then while you're getting your education, you can think about, you know, who you want to be with and date lots, and you know, just make sure that you're focusing on you. And
that's the thing. It's that focus on you and knowing that it's about making yourself, or you know, imparting that to your child, that it's about them and their journey, and not about being dependent on anybody else for their life to be fulfilling.
And I don't think it's selfish. I think it's like you have to know who you are inside and reach for your dreams, and in turn you're going to find somebody that is going to help support you in that.
Yeah, and I think that sometimes for women, I think that's what you're almost taught, that your life, you know, that is selfish, to basically want things and go for them. And I think, and it's just subliminal, and I think but I think, you know, it's changing, and times are changing, and it's different. But I think knowing that's okay to want things, and that it's not selfish, Lisa, I think is really important.
The saying, be the best that you can be, always like comes back, and that's what I want to implement on Cooper, because it's like, when you're taking care of yourself, not in a selfless way, but you're doing what you feel is right in your heart, I think that becomes infectious, and like, you know, to other people, and they see that, and it's almost inspirational, and
then that's who you attract. You're going to attract a guy that wants to see you succeed and have everything you want. You know?
In the U.S., when you graduate high school, it's 18, right? In Canada, it's either 16 or 17. I graduated at 16. So you're supposed to make a career choice when you're 16 years old. And I think that's the number one mistake, is you need to be old enough to be able to think, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? And I think when you make decisions at 16, you don't really know. So you end up going to school to do something you don't really want to do. You fail at it, you quit, and then you're out in the real world without a career.
That's such a good point. Yeah, I think the same thing, even at 18, I think is too young. I know in Europe they give you a year, you know, 2 years before sometimes you go off to college. And I know right when I was graduating, I was a political science major, but I was like, oh, now I know what I would have majored in. And I was like, I wish I was going to school now. I've had enough life experience.
When I was done with school, I was like, I studied in business, which was completely something I'm not doing now, but I wish I would have studied in communication. I was like 21, I'm like, it's too late now, because I started college early, then I finished early.
I feel like, didn't they send those high school, and the counselors in high school that you took those tests, and like, you could be this, but what, like 16, working in the school, it's like, what kid is going to take that seriously? So I want to help our kids and like understand that, use your counselors as resources to say, because it is something you need to think about, and college is something I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I'm like, I'm here because I'm a cheerleader at this college, and I'm going to go to class and be a hot guy. Like, I didn't know, you know, college is so different than high school. I wish that I would have taken the opportunities, because there are so many in the college and in the high school to get around with a counselor or like financial aid or whatever you want, because to some kids it's like, this isn't possible, but you just need to exercise those resources.
So what do you suggest to like kids that are 16 and 17 and don't know what they want to do, but they want to go to school? Like,
would you encourage your child? Like, because it's not what society would say. They're at this age, go to college, but maybe it's a good thing to say, go out for 2 years and work or volunteer or try different things so that you have some. I mean, I think I would like to encourage my kids when I have them, you know, to go out and try and have some life experiences and then come back and go to school. I think there's this thing, you get off the track and you don't go to college, you're never going to go, and you're going to fail. Like,
you end up wasting money and credits, because you're like, I took a class called freshman seminar, and I didn't know what it was about. I'm like, I was like in yoga, like, you know, those are fun classes, but it's a waste, you know, of money and time.
I think you all have you're good at something. So either it's towards art, communication, business, science, and then you just kind of narrow it down to, you know, you pick that field, and then you just kind of break it down to one that you have most interest in.
It's interesting to me too. A lot of people that I've talked to who have gone to college change throughout their course too. So how do you?
I started in business and then went to education, because I was like, I don't know.
But at the same time, it's like all those things are experience and they're life experiences, and it's like part of discovering who you are. And I think that that's okay. Yeah. But I think education is key. As long as you are striving towards getting an education, no matter what it is, like it might not even be college. It might be an education towards something else, or you know, just go for what you're interested in.
You're doing like exactly what you want to do, which is great. That college isn't necessarily the answer. It's it's just you know exactly what you want to do. So that's
You go
what's
travel the world for a little bit and then come back.
Well, now like a
that's
video gamer,
experience.
that can be a career. Like you grow up, you know, your kids still play the video games, but they want to be amazing at it, and now they have successful YouTube channels, and maybe you know that's
Yeah.
It's a hard bullet to bite though. Like,
Yeah.
what if your child comes, I'm going to be a professional gamer? You're like, okay. I'm going to support you in that. Shoot.
There's these alternative schools I know where they actually encourage them to just do what they're passionate about. So if they don't feel like going to class, they don't have to. They can just sit and play guitar all day, or they can sit and play their video game all day, or they
As long
can
as they're
cook.
doing something.
They're doing something they're passionate about, because then they wind up being experts in that, and that can be like a real career, which I think is kind of interesting.
It's
really
going to be
is.
interesting to see what happens between now
And
and
when
when
they're
our kids are
older.
in high school.
School's changing
What
so
is gonna
much.
We'll be sitting in here again. We're all gonna be older.
See for yourself, I'm going to study
So we have an amazing Facebook page called The Mom's View, and we have Twitter as well. So you have to go check those out and follow us and like the
Yes.
and like us.
Like us.
Like us so much. It's going to be awesome.
And we have a special giveaway for you guys on our Facebook page. It's a beautiful Leyendecker blouse. And if you guys go over there and you comment about this episode, whoever gets the most thumbs up is going to be given that beautiful Leyendecker top.
Can I comment?
Yes.
Not yet.
No, I love Mom too.
So subscribe to Leyendecker and subscribe to Mom's View, and
Follow us on Twitter.
We're all over the place.
Can't miss
everywhere.
us. All right, we'll see you
next
next
week.
time.
See ya.
Bye.